Canada. And all of those bad things that you had to suffer with, you're not suffering anymore, because now people and companies have an incentive to stay. They're not going to be leaving so fast. That was the biggest point I made. I want to make sure that these companies aren't leaving and the managers walk up and they say, I'm sorry, our company's leaving, going to Mexico or Canada, but going primarily in that case to Mexico. Canada takes advantage of us with dairy, unbelievable advantage, but not anymore. But Mexico took a lot of jobs. And I said, I don't want companies moving. And if they do move, remember, you've heard it, if they do move, when they make that product, they got to pay a big price to sell it back into our country. So they have no more incentive to move. The USMCA contains powerful new protections for American manufacturers, automakers, farmers, dairy producers, and workers all across Ohio and all of our states. Those were key promises I made to American workers in 2016. I kept every single one of them. The fake news media back there, they hate to report this. They hate it. Why do they hate it? Because they're fake. Today, to define our path forward, I'm making our incredible workers 6 more promises that I will keep over the next 4 years, and I'm very proud to make them at your plant and in the state of Ohio. First and foremost, we will defeat the China virus. We're working very, very hard. We call it the China virus. We call it the invisible enemy. We call it many different names. It's got many different names, but it's bad, and we've made tremendous strides. We're attacking the virus from every angle, and through this aggressive strategy, we will win the war, and it will happen sooner than people think. We're developing a bounty of therapies such as remdesivir, dexamethasone, antibody treatments. The antibody treatments are really working out well, really well, and many more that have allowed us to reduce mortality by 85% since April. Under Operation Warp Speed, 2 vaccines are already in the final stage of clinical trials, and we'll have a vaccine very soon, I hope long before the end of the year. We've dramatically increased our domestic production of personal protective equipment, such as N95 respirators, gowns, and gloves. We've got factories now all over the United States making these products. And we've developed the most advanced testing system on earth to produce our most, and this is what we have to do. We have to produce not only cleanliness and perfection in every way, but we have to protect our most vulnerable citizens against this horrible virus. And that's, generally speaking, the elderly, especially the elderly with problems of the heart, problems with the heart, and diabetes in particular. Those 2 are a basic disaster. Our strategy shelters those at highest risk while allowing those at lower risk to get safely back to work and to school. Instead of a never-ending blanket lockdown causing severe long-term public health consequences, we've targeted and looked at data-driven approaches, and that's what we're doing. Again, when you close down, and we had to do it initially because it came and hit us big, hard, and nobody knew what it was, and we saved millions of lives. But today, you just pinpoint it. We know what to do, and we know who to protect. As an example, very young children are incredibly powerful. They're much stronger than all of us when it comes to the immune system. It's an incredible thing to see. But we know who to protect, and we know what to do. And let me tell you, lockdowns have big consequences in terms of drugs, in terms of family, in terms of depression and suicide, in terms of so many other problems that are caused, and not good for the kids. And they don't learn the same at a computer as they do when they're in a classroom. So there are big, big problems with lockdowns. But we cannot defeat the virus by fighting against each other. Just can't. And there are a lot of different theories and a lot of different ways. But if you look at some of the results, you'll see some of the states governor run. Some of the states that are open and run very smart are doing very well, and in fact better than strong lockdown states. Now is the time to come together as Americans and to unite against the plague inflicted upon us by China. Together we will prevail. My second promise to you is this: we will rise from the current adversity of this horrible, invisible enemy, and we will be more prosperous and resilient than ever before. We've done things that we never knew we could do. We're building factories now. We're building plants. You'll see what's going to be happening with the job numbers very soon. We had 2 of the best months ever in the history of our country. And we're going to have many, many very, very successful years unless somebody comes along and destroys it by doubling, tripling, and quadrupling your taxes.